So today I am going to be talking about the classical orders in architecture. And I would be so grateful if you hit that subscribe button and consider supporting my Patreon. So for today's episode, I am going to be talking about the classical orders. There are 5 classical orders. 3 are Greek and 2 are Roman. And these classical orders are everywhere in architecture. It's really good to know, but it's really predominant in antiquity and in architecture history. So if you want to learn more, just keep on watching. All 5 orders have defined characteristics for the pedestal, column-based, shaft, and capital, and even the entablature above the column. Entablature in architecture is just the horizontal molding and band located immediately above the columns. Classical essentially just means that it originates from ancient civilizations, specifically ancient Greeks and ancient Roman civilizations. In ancient Greek and Roman times, temples and grandiose places of worship were predominant. This was a common building typology. Columns were an essential defining component of these designs. Greek orders around 500 BCE was the height of the Greek civilization and their prosperity. They developed 3 architecture orders, the earliest one being the Doric Order, the second Ionic Order, and the third is the Corinthian Order. Roman orders. Ancient Greek orders and classical architecture there inspired the buildings and architecture seen in the Roman Empire. They imitated the Greek column style by developing 2 more. One, the Tuscan Order, and the last one, Composite Order. The Composite Order can easily be confused with Corinthian, but note that the top entablature is different. Column basics and their components. The column sits on what is known as the stylobate. It is almost like a stepped platform that holds the colonnade of a temple. The plinth is extruded from the block base. The shaft itself, depending on the type of order, will have fluting, which are just vertical grooves, and it can taper inward towards the top. Then on the top part of the column, the orders have their own varying profiles and moldings. The capital concentrates the weight of the entablature. It serves to be a nice aesthetic transition between shaft to entablature. Entablature itself has 3 parts: the architrave, frieze, and cornice. Now, let's talk about the first order, the Doric Order. The Doric Order is slightly tapered and is based on the proportions of a male body. It has no individual base and sits directly on the stylobate. The column is simple, and the entablature features plain or carved sculpted reliefs. Doric architecture is at the Temple of Hera at Olympia, built in 600 BCE if you are looking for an example. Ionic Order. With light, fluid, organic lines, this order alludes to the lines of the female body. It has more fluting on the shaft, meaning it has more shallow grooves running along the surface. It also features volutes, which are just spiral, scroll-like ornamentation on the Ionic column. Palm leaves, papyrus, vegetable leaves, all of these decorations and ornamentations were probably inspired by Egyptian architecture. The entablature is 3-band, and the frieze itself lacks the Doric triglyph and metopes. Corinthian Order. The most refined style of the 3 models and the thinnest of 3 columns. The Corinthian Order is very elegant and easily distinguishable due to its capital. It features 2 rows of acanthus leaves and scrolls. The acanthus is one of the most common plant forms to make foliage ornamentation and decoration. Tuscan Order. The Tuscan Order is a reinterpretation of the Doric Order by the Romans. It has unfluted shaft and a simple capital. It is very plain and has a very solid appearance. It presents formal simplicity and therefore also structural simplicity. And the last order is the Composite Order, also developed by the Romans. It was only ranked as a separate kind of order in the Renaissance. It is composite because it has the Ionic columns volutes and the Corinthian acanthus leaf ornamentation. It has an overlap of ornamentation, basically, and that is why it is called composite. Okay, well, that is it for today's video. Once again, please hit the subscribe button if you learned something new, like and share with your mom.